Good morning, folks. We're back on the C Morning Show right here on C today. Now, for those of you at home who are a huge fan of coffee like myself, you're in for a treat because we have a coffee making talk show right here in store for you. Now, we all know millions of people around the world depend on coffee for their livelihoods, and the rise in demand for coffee consumption is one of the primary factors driving the cafe shops and trends. And I could say that I'm a very loyal customer to a lot of coffee shops. And now coffee addicts like myself in Indonesia are so lucky. And thanks to its fertile soil and climate, the country can produce a variety of rich coffee beans, which results in diverse types of coffees, including specialty coffee. But is it true that specialty coffee is one of the best? Now, to answer that question, we have a very coffee expert here with us in the studio. We have Hiro Lesmana, who is ready, more than ready, to teach us about coffee brewing. Now, good morning, Hiro.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for your time this morning to share your knowledge with us and, of course, our folks at home about coffee and how coffee can easily be made at home too, right? Like cafe quality coffee can be made at home. All right, Hiro, I really need my coffee now. It's Saturday morning. I'm pumped for the weekend. I might need more than one. So please, let's make one or two of your special brew.
Okay.
All right, how do we start?
Okay, so now I have 4 coffees here. You can start by choosing 2 of them. So I will brew 2 of them today.
Okay, we'll do that. So we've got the options here.
So I have 2 from Indonesia.
Okay.
And 2 from imported origins.
Gotcha.
So I have Costa Rican, I have West Java, and I have Colombian and Papua New Guinea.
Wow, okay, I think I'm gonna go for the 2.
All of them is very good. You choose one. Choose 2.
2, I get to 2, it's a treat. Okay, I'll pick the 2 you're holding.
Okay, so, that's a good choice because this is my current favorite.
Yes, okay, so that's the good one. So so here, what do we need to do before getting into the brewing process? So before we do any of the technical stuff, how do we get started?
Okay, so what we're doing now is exactly how you would do coffees at home.
Okay.
So you just open the bag like this, and what you need is a scale.
So it has to be a certain precise grams,
because we're talking about repeatability. So when you're making good coffee, you can repeat it the next day and the day afterwards.
Right, gotcha. So the quality of coffee and the taste of coffee is actually very important to know how much coffee we actually put. To it. Oh, okay, so this is fresh coffee.
Fresh, very fresh.
Oh, I can smell that. That smells amazing.
So today we're going to use 14 grams.
Yep.
So this is the Costa Rican.
Now, I'm sure like me, myself, and of course our folks at home, we have different ways of maybe creating our coffee in the morning. But what are we expecting here, Hiro, to taste out of the coffee drip? Say in comparison to like tubruk, or maybe some of us are a fan of French press, or even straight from the machine. Like, how is this different?
Okay, so basically with coffee, there's only 2 types of coffee drinks.
Gotcha.
It is either machine brewed or manually brewed.
Okay.
So with machine brewed, you get something like espresso, cappuccino, latte, and so on and so on. But with manual brew, it's like the opposite of it.
Right.
It doesn't involve any machine. So hence it was called manual.
Manual.
Yes.
Does it make it harder because it's manual? Like there's no help from any machines and anything. Like it's plainly you. It's manual. It's in your own hands. So does it make the process a little harder, would you say, in comparison to machine coffees?
It makes the process a little bit harder, I think, but somewhat it's becoming like a therapeutic ritual, you know, like, and it's becoming more and more popular in Indonesia because this is a ritual.
Right, especially in the morning, right? You wake up to the smell of it. Yes, okay.
You're going to help me to grind the coffee.
Yes, sir.
So
let me help you where I can.
This is the grinder, and you can just do what I do.
Okay. Just literally
Yeah,
twist it. Okay.
and then just spin until it's finished.
Okay.
Okay.
Do we know when it's finished?
Is it hard?
How do we know? Harder? Okay.
Is it okay?
Yeah, it's good. It's like
Okay.
an arm workout in the morning.
Yeah.
So do we have to, whoa,
Oh, you need to hold it
stuff.
higher.
higher here?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Ah, gotcha.
Yeah, so it's-
So can we only hold it this way, or will it like topple over if we hold it like sideways?
Whatever works.
Oh, okay. So you can even.
No, no, no.
Oh,
yeah.
not topple.
It will topple over.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, got it. Okay.
The beans will get everywhere.
Yeah, we wouldn't want that.
Okay.
And now, can you elaborate more on like the specialty coffee and Manuel brewing itself? Like, just out of curiosity,
Okay.
though. Like, I mean, because you know, when we go to cafes, I feel like people are so used to ordering like a latte or a cappuccino. You know,
Okay.
ones that you can see on the menu. Oh,
done.
It's done.
Yeah,
Wow,
that's
that
it.
was great.
Okay.
But with Manuel brew, like, why is it so special, especially here in Indonesia?
Okay, so the term nowadays is specialty coffee.
Specialty coffee.
Everywhere you go is specialty coffee.
All right.
But what is specialty coffee?
What is specialty
What
coffee?
is specialty
exactly.
coffee?
We hear it so much now. Like
Yeah.
we go to cafes, people are like, "Would you like specialty coffee?"
Yeah,
We're like,
exactly.
"What is the difference?"
So specialty coffee is a term that we use for a higher grade of coffee.
Coffee. Okay.
It's the opposite of commercial grade coffee.
That's why it's called specialty coffee.
That's what it's called, specialty coffee. And basically that's it. So the focus is on the origin.
Would
you
you
wanna
like
help?
help?
Okay.
Yes, I'd love to.
Thank you.
So you're saying the focus is of the.
It's more on the origin.
Yeah.
So it's on the flavor itself. So what is interesting about specialty coffee is
Yeah.
that it is where the innovation take place, and it's very competitive.
Right. Now, with these two coffees that you have suggested,
Yep.
and that I'm so excited to try, what flavors
Go for
can
it.
you? Getting there, getting there,
there.
guys. What flavors can you say for these two? Are they like sweet or
Okay.
like?
Yeah. So
ooh, okay, I
that's
think
exactly what makes specialty coffee interesting. Is because of the flavors.
Yes.
And some people wonder why is coffee, but it tastes like fruit.
Yes, some fruity, some
Yeah,
even taste like chocolate.
Yeah.
Even right.
Why? Because coffee is a seed
Yes.
of a fruit.
Right.
So it only makes sense that it will taste like fruit.
Fruits.
And if it's done well, processed well, it will taste.
You can really taste
Yeah. There will be no bitterness or whatever. Okay, now we have the
right.
coffee grounded.
Yes.
What we need to do next is to ready the brewer.
The brewer, okay.
Okay.
And that's these things here.
Yes, yeah, it comes in all
That's a
kinds
filter,
of.
is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
It comes in all kinds of brands, shape, and size, but this one doesn't have any name yet because I made this one.
Wow, you made it yourself?
Yeah.
Can I just take a look? Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, guys, look at that.
So
He made it
it's still
himself.
3D printed, so it's still kind of rough, but I'm still
Beautiful.
making it.
Look at that. Wow, you
Yeah.
made this yourself.
So the term, if you enjoy manually brewed coffee, you may hear filter coffee. Have you heard the term?
I have, yes, very often so. So
Because-
is this what we're doing?
Yeah,
Okay.
because you use a filter,
Right.
hence the name
Filter coffee.
Okay, before we begin, we just need to rinse the filter a little bit.
So, just noting on what you explained earlier about specialty coffee and how it's different to commercial coffee,
Yep.
would you say specialty coffee is more about the coffee and not about how you brew it? Or is it just a mixture of both? Like you'd have to brew a specialty coffee.
It is a mixture of both,
Okay.
but the focus shifts heavily towards the farm level.
Got it.
So, because in the farm, it is where the flavors get produced by
I
the farmer and everything.
Uh-huh.
So the focus leaning heavily towards the
Towards the
farm.
farming
Yes.
and how it's made, rather than how it's being sort of turned into a
Yes.
coffee serving.
And then on the retail level,
Yes.
it is like people like me or the barista job to translate that flavor into a beverage.
Into a beverage.
Yes.
Right. And us as the consumers or the coffee addicts get to enjoy it the most.
Okay, so
Yes.
now we'll brew two.
Okay,
So,
you
coffee
pour
in?
Coffee in first.
Coffee in first.
And then the water. Okay.
Okay,
Coffee
and
in first. Okay, guys. So for all you folks at home who is interested to try a new way to make your morning coffee, this is it.
So we start the timer.
Okay. So we got the coffee in.
First pour in.
Start the timer.
I'm going to use 15 mils of water.
And you have to sort of circulate the water, is it?
It's just to wet everything evenly.
Got it.
So the first pour is what we call the bloom.
The bloom.
Why is it bloom? Because you can see it's blooming.
Oh,
it's the gases. Because when coffee is roasted,
yes.
they produce CO2.
I see.
So you need to let them degas. Yeah.
And so which one is the Costa Rica one?
This one is the Costa Rican.
And this is the...
yes. Okay.
So for the timer, as we can see here, we press the time before we started pouring,
yes.
right? So how long do we have to have the timer on for?
Well, basically you just leave it open, and this is just a reference. So you can replicate this recipe later.
Right, so it depends how long it takes for the coffee to sort of absorb.
And then the second pour, because I make two at once, so I need to do more pours.
Right.
Because the more you pour, decide the strength of your coffee.
So is it stronger the more you pour?
Yes, the more you pour, the more intervals you make, the stronger your coffee becomes.
I see. Now, and with the water that we pour the coffee with, like, does it have to be a certain temperature? I know that it looks very hot here, so it's definitely boiling water, but is there a certain temperature?
Temperature you can use anywhere between 90 to boiling water.
Okay.
But if you're at home and you don't have a kettle that can show the temperature, you can just boil the water and then leave it in the room temperature for 5 minutes.
Boil water and then leave in room temperature for 5 minutes. Now, what if maybe say our guys at home, you know, they are trying to take the water out of the dispenser, like the hot water out of the dispenser. Is that still manageable? Like, is that okay to use to make this kind of coffee?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, again, the coffee is already good.
Right.
Out of the gate. From the farm, it's already good. So no matter how you do it, it's like, it will still be good.
It'll still be good. So that's in reference to what you just mentioned earlier, right? It's at the farming level.
Yep.
That's where the benchmark is. Wow.
And then...
Now, I mean, Hiro, you are obviously a coffee expert and barista with clearly years of experience, and you were even in both national and international competitions. Like, can you, as we're making coffee right now, can you tell us a little more about that? I mean, I took a certified 1-week course in coffee, but now I'm just like in awe of like being in the presence of an experienced barista.
Thank you.
So please share with us some of your knowledge. Like, how was that? How was the journey towards that?
Okay, so I think I started I grew up in a family that is very familiar with coffee. So I think the aroma of the coffee is very warm and inviting. But before, it tasted just bitter.
Right.
So I have no interest over coffee.
Yeah.
And then I think around 2011, that is the first time I tasted specialty coffee. And then it tasted very fruity. It's very delicate. It's juicy. It doesn't taste like what I imagine coffee
Right, what you're used to.
I think that sparks my interest.
Like, oh, this is a different taste of coffee. Let's explore that,
And then I think the rest is just history.
History. And I think, you know, talking about coffee and the history of it, we can see over the course of time, I think maybe after 2013 or maybe after 2011 when you started taking an interest in coffee, that it really started to spike. People were actually going to get coffee not because they needed it, but for enjoyment. And I mean, what do you think of that? Like the coffee culture that we can see, you know, the evolution of it just continue to rising and rise.
I think
at
first people just get coffee because of the caffeine.
Right.
You just need that boost in the morning.
Yeah.
But over time, people appreciate flavors.
Yes.
Because this is what flavors is all about.
All about.
Now, you want to taste this?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so
I think more and more people are becoming more aware and just sort of taking and grasping the fact that coffee is just more than coffee, right?
Yep.
It's got flavor, it's got different types
People appreciate flavor more.
Yes.
So it only makes sense that people shift from drinking only for the caffeine, and now because you enjoy it.
Yeah, that's why people go coffee tasting.
Yeah. So as you see, the glass I use in front of you is actually a wine glass.
Yes, I just
It is actually a wine
realized
glass
that.
because wine glasses are designed to elevate
the
the
heat?
experience, elevate the flavors, the aroma. So I'm going to.
I love this concept, drinking coffee in a wine glass on a Saturday morning. That's what we need, guys.
So we'll start with the left glass. This is yours.
All right.
This is the Costa Rican. You can start with the aroma.
Ooh, fruity.
It's very fruity. It has notes like caramel or brown sugar.
Yep,
It does,
caramel.
right?
Like it's fruity, but you sense that tang of sweetness.
Yes.
In
It
it.
smells sweet.
It smells
You get
sweet.
it, right?
Yes.
It smells sweet.
Fruity but sweet.
Okay, then we can enjoy it.
Okay. That's good. I can definitely taste the fruitiness and the sense of caramel. It tastes how it smells.
Yeah. It doesn't have any bitterness, right?
None at all.
Because that's how coffee should be. If it's done well, sourced well, grown well, roasted well, and brewed well,
You can really taste the roast.
yeah, it will not taste any bitter.
I mean, if I didn't know any better, I would have mistaken this for tea. It's the fruity for sure. So this was the Costa Rica.
Costa Rica. Good.
Amazing. Very, very good.
So you can see
No bitterness
how
whatsoever.
this becomes popular.
Yeah, definitely, because it doesn't taste like bitter coffee. But I have to ask though, Hiro, if we say mess up the whole brewing process, can it taste bitter?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
So bitterness is a byproduct of everything that is overcooked.
Right.
Example, you're cooking a steak. If you're cooking it for too long, it will taste bitter.
Right.
But if you're doing it just well, it's juicy and tender.
Right. Okay.
Same with
so
coffee.
Not to over brew.
Not to overbrew. Yeah. So just a little bit more.
Yes. Thank
So
you.
this is the West
The
Java,
West Java. This is local made, guys.
local made.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Hiro.
Aroma first.
Yes.
It smells different, right?
It smells kind of like jasmine. It's very flowery, floral.
Whoa, you're very good at identifying this
Thank
flavor
you.
notes. Yeah. You have potential in coffee.
Maybe I can actually be an expert
You can
at
have
it, not just
potential in
drinking
coffee.
it, but also making coffee. Wow.
It has that subtle floral notes. Yeah.
Okay, wow, that was amazing.
Different.
Very different.
Very different.
Now I will be savoring this coffee. I love the flavor with you, Hiro, but thank you so much for your time and
you
for
for
the
having me.
knowledge that you have shared with us here in the studio and of course with our folks at home. Now guys, we are set for another short break, but don't go anywhere because we'll be right back with some recap in case you missed what's been happening earlier. Stay tuned on the C Morning Show only on C Today.